Oh, hey everybody. It's your good friend Jody Sharp from Laugh Out Loud Puppets. And we are going to make a little monster puppet. Uh, and we call them Pop and Twists. So I have this green material here, and we're going to cut it so that each side of the material is even, because you want it to be flush. So just take your excess and put it off to the side. And then we'll just turn it over and we'll take the other side and we will cut it even. All right. And we want them to have a little round head. So just cut the ends round like so. All right. So if you have any excess material, you can just throw it in your spare bins and it makes good stuffing for other types of puppets. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a popsicle skewer or a bamboo skewer. All right. And if you have a pair of little cutters, just cut it flush. Or an old pair of scissors, you can do that with an old pair of scissors. Or a pair of pliers, you could just break off the end, but you just don't want it to be too pointy on the end. All right. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take off our top layer of material. Okay. And then we're going to take our bamboo skewer and we're going to take our hot glue gun and we're going to put a dab of hot glue. You want a pretty good dab because you want it to be really stuck in there. And you're going to take your skewer and you're going to put it almost to the top of your first piece of material. And then before it dries, you want to line it up very carefully back on the top and just give it a good pinch. And the material will stop you from getting burnt. Okay. Just like that. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start on one side of our material and we're going to work our way up with our glue gun. Now, depending on the material you use, and as you go, you just want to gently push it in. But depending on the material you use, like this is a very fluffy material, and hot glue is a little tricky on fluffy materials. So you're really going to have to like push it down really, really good. Some of the softer materials that are flat, you don't have to push it down as much. All right. And because of the type of material, there could be a little bit that spills over and it'll get on your table. So make sure you do this onto a table where you don't mind getting a little bit of hot glue on, and it'll peel off after, but you want to make sure you can clear it up. So anyways, after that dries, you can just keep working along the top, just making sure you go along all the edges. And you're gonna find that your glue gun, especially on this type of material, is gonna get a bit mucky. Now, I have a little pad that I put my glue gun on, and it's a little rubber pad. And for me, I just clear off the excess glue. And when it dries, you can just pick it off of your little pad. And this little pad just goes on my glue gun holder like this, so that it protects all my glue gun holder from glue. And the glue comes right off. So after you get that all stuck in, and it, as you can see, it takes a little bit. And for some reason, glue takes a little bit to dry longer with these fluffy materials. So be a little patient and just go along, continue on. And if you're able to do it all in one strip, it'll be a little bit easier for you than always opening it up. So if you like do one side, one strip, put it on, do the other side, it'll be a little easier for you. And just again, make sure you just go with your fingers. All right. And remember, it is hot glue, so be a little bit careful. Okay. And because this just glue is very sticky, there is these little tiny little fingers, rubber fingertips that can help you to not get burned, and they come in pink and blue and other colors, and you just put them on and they help you from getting burned. So if you need those, they're not very expensive. You can usually find them at the dollar store, or you can buy them online, and they're very helpful. And after, just if you're using one of these furry sort of blanket materials, just take your fingers after, and you can just go along the edge and just give it a little bit of a pull, and all the little excess fur will come out. All right, like so. And it's okay if you make them a little scruffy, because at the end of the day, we want them to be scruffy because we're making a little monster puppet. And then you can just work along the bottom like that. All right, so now you're gonna have your little monster guy. Okay, so take all your little extra fluffies, scoop them up in your hand, throw them in your garbage. So the next thing we're gonna do is we have these printed eyes that I have printed off of the computer. And I like these monster eyes here on the top. So I'm going to use these monster eyes right there. I think they look really monsterish. So what you're going to do, what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of white Bristol board. Now it could be cereal box or something like that. So if you don't have white Bristol board, you can use any kind of small thin cardboard. But in this case, I do have white Bristol board, so I'm going to use that. And what we're going to do is we're going to take our hot glue gun and we're going to put it on the back of our printed eyes, like so. And we're going to push it down like that. Okay. And then we're going to take some clear packing tape and we're going to seal them in like this. And then give it a little bit of a trim. Okay. Make sure if you're using packing tape, you fold over the edge, because it's almost impossible to get it next time you need it. And there you go. We have our monster eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a pair of scissors and we're going to cut very carefully along the edge of the monster eyes. And you don't want any white showing, so you're going to cut around the black. But make sure to leave the black rim. So you want to cut on the outside of the black rim and not on the inside. Otherwise, it's going to look really, really choppy. And then you have your monster eye there. And then we're going to cut out the other one. Like so. Keep cutting. Now, of course, you can make these as complicated as you want, but I don't want to make it more complicated. I'd like to make it less complicated. So we have our two monster eyes, like so. And we take our hot glue gun and we just apply some to the back, up to the edges. Now be careful not to burn your fingers. And then you glue them on like so. If you want to make a funny monster, you could give them 3 eyes, or you could just give them 1 eye. In this particular case, I'm going to give them 2 eyes, like so. All right. And for this monster, I'm going to give him a black mouth, and then I'm going to give him some teeth. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a piece of black felt, and I'm just going to cut him a monstery mouth, like so, like a little half moon, half watermelon-y sort of shape. And that's going to be his mouth. All right, so decide where you want his mouth to be. And then I want it to be a little bit high up to his eyes. And then you take your hot glue gun, put it on the back of your felt. Again, be careful because it is hot. And you're going to push it in like that. Now, I want my little monster to have a little patch of red hair, I think. So I want him to be a little red hair. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to trim off this like this. All right. And I'm going to just trim it around the edge to round them off. All right, like so. Beautiful. And I'm going to take a little bit of hot glue. Again, being very careful not to get it on your fingers. Again, it is hot. And I'm going to put the hair on like so. So our little monster's got a little bit of hair. Okay, so I want him to have teeth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of Bristol board like this, white Bristol board. I'm going to cut it to the size of the mouth. And if you want them to have white, just plain white teeth, you can cut it like that. But if you want them to have a little bit of a monstery teeth look, you can take a yellow marker and try not to get it on your table. And you can just give them that bit of a yellowish look, like so. Okay. And again, try not to get it on your table. And it's always good to have, and I should have put this down. It's always good to have a little bit of a drawing board or a cutting board to do these things on so that you don't get it on your table. Put our little guy back in the middle there. Okay, so take your tape and cover that over. All right, and fold over your little tape like so. And then you can take your scissors and cut off the white part because you're not going to need that anymore. And you can cut off all the tape because you won't need that anymore. And as you see, your tape is going to stick to your scissors because that's what packing tape does. Just take off the excess, throw that in the garbage. Okay, so I want to make a little pair or a pair of fangs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut along the edge, and then I'm going to cut like that all the way to the end, and then I'm going to work my way up and almost to the top. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut another little triangular piece. All right, so now we have that. And then I'm going to cut the next piece like that as well. All right. And I'm going to work my way along, but I don't want all the teeth to be that long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just come in with my scissors and I'm going to round them off a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to cut the next one up. Cut the next one in a triangle like this. Okay. And I'll cut all the shapes first, and then I'll show you, I'll finish them all off. So I'll cut that like a little triangle like that. Cut that like a little triangle like that. And then, of course, the last tooth will be the fang, so we'll cut that one up like that. Okay, so now we're just going to round off all the teeth, and they don't have to all be completely even because they're monster teeth, right? So basically you're going to have a monster teeth like that. All right, and just to make it look really kind of nice, you can kind of round it off on the edge so that it looks like it's naturally his teeth. And then all these little bits, you can either throw them out or keep them for other teeth. That's up to you. And again, you can put the teeth on the bottom going up, or you can do the teeth on the top going down. And if you find that it's still just a little too thick on the top, you can always trim a little bit more off, like so, and then they'll fit a little bit better in the mouth and look a little more natural. Okay, so take a bit of hot glue, and you're going to glue them along the edge, and then you're just going to glue it along the edge like that. Okay, so he's looking pretty good. So he's looking pretty monstery. And if you want him to have little horns, let's just say we want to have a little horns, take a piece of Bristol board and you can cut it in half. And then you can just shape him a little pair of horns. All right. Like this. Again, if you want them to be yellow, you can do the same as you did with the thing. But in this case, I'm just going to use a dab of white. So I'm going to put on one horn there. And I'm going to take the other horn and dab of glue. I'm just going to put it on. Now I'm facing up like that. And there we have our little monstery twist and pop.
Oh, hey everybody, how's it going? Is everything going all good?
Right? So there you go, guys. This is our twisty pop monster. They're great for Halloween. If you're going to give any out to the trick-or-treaters or for your kids, or, you know, they make a great little gift. And, you know, they just show that not all monsters are scary. Some are very friendly and loving. All right, guys. So just remember, have a safe and happy Halloween. for those of you who celebrate Halloween. And if you are a follower of Christ, as I am, let's make it bright and light and be the light unto the world and share our love with people and share the love of Jesus. Thank you, everybody, and see you in the next one.